Grandma.
I call my grandmother Gia.
I call her Suki.
Grandma. Yeah, Grandma.
Grandma.
Nana. I think she thinks that like Granny is like kind of cute. Like I think that's her like Jenny from the Block like upgrade on Grandma.
So only my sister and I call my grandmother Gia.
It was like a Suki now, you know, so she's Suki to everybody.
Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. I haven't really heard her talk much about her life and her experience. She instilled like mannerisms and being very poised and always putting your best foot forward.
Because my grandmother is really sure about who she is. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Grandmother Project presents Pearls and Pocketbooks, our live monthly interactive webinar featuring Black grandmothers and granddaughters discussing love, life, and everything in between. My name is Melanie Brazil, and I am the creator of the Grandmother Project, an original 9-episode docuseries and archive, which you just watched the trailer for, now available on YouTube. Simply go to youtube.com/thegrandmotherproject and click subscribe. The links will be in the chat. As you know, season 2 of Pearls and Pocketbooks is in full effect. Last episode, we chatted with famed musician and storyteller Shanta Nurullah and her daughter, Kiwa Nurullah, owner of the South Side of Chicago's children boutique, Kiddo. And we discussed their lives as artists, entrepreneurs, and their family's connection to Tulsa's Black Wall Street. If you missed that episode, it is now live on our YouTube page. Tonight, we are chatting with an aunt-niece duo who have learned to ride the waves of life, trust their instincts, and continue to evolve as they now journey as grandmothers. It is my pleasure to welcome you to Pearls and Pocketbooks, episode 13, Perspectives. So, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to this evening's guest. Our first guest was born in Chicago, Illinois, on the South Side. She is the second oldest of 9 kids who grew up in a good Christian house with God, mom, and dad. Now at 71 years of age, she is a grandmother, great-grandmother, and a grand aunt to many. She attended DuSable High School and went on to work in international banking for 12 years, rising to the rank of manager. She continued her education and graduated from the University of Illinois at Chicago with a degree in mass communication and a theater minor. She always loved to dance and was a member of many dance troupes. She found acting in college and quickly realized that that was a door for her. She has performed at many theaters in the Chicago area, including the Goodman Theater, the Remains Theater, and City Lit Theater, just to name a few. She's performed in many, many plays, including The Good Times Are Killing Me by Linda Berry, directed by Arnold April, which was her favorite role, for which she received 2 Jeff Awards. She has also been in several movies, including the original Candyman, Losing Isaiah, Love Jones, and more. She has also appeared in numerous television commercials. For the last 20 years, she's been working and living between LA and Chicago. She recently returned to Chicago full-time a year and a half ago. Currently, she is enjoying her 91-year-old mom, her family, and her semi-retirement. She is always looking to the future. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Glenda Starr, Grandma Mama Kelley. Glinda.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Listen, after reading your bio, it is no wonder that your nieces think that you are a cool auntie. I mean, that is cool. I cannot wait to chat with you further. Of course, though, I have to introduce our second guest. So I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
I'm now going to introduce our second wonderful guest. All right. So our second guest was also born in Chicago, but raised in sunny Los Angeles, California. She is a mother, grandmother, and the niece of our first guest, Glenda Kelley. She has been employed as a behavioral management aide for 34 years. She is a mother of one son and a grandmother of a wonderful 11-year-old granddaughter who is her heart. Her hobbies include spending time with friends and family, pour painting, resin work, and most recently, nail art. Her words of wisdom to live by are follow your first mind. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Cynthia Randolph, who's affectionately known to her family and friends as Cindy. Cindy, welcome.
Hi, everybody. Thank you.
I am so thrilled to be chatting with both of you today. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's exciting. Good. I'm looking forward to it.
You know, as you know, both of you were recommended by your family member, Nambi Kelley.
Yes.
Shout out to Nambi Kelley.
Shout out.
Nambi is a talented actress, writer, director. I mean, she wears so many hats.
Yes.
Like, I just thank you so much, Nambi, for this wonderful recommendation.
I'm really proud of her. She's really, really doing it. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
it is.
That's right. And, you know, it's very clear then that the creativity and the good vibes seem to run in this family.
Yes, it's in the bloodline.
That's right. You all are just really, really cool. And so, you know, I want to start off this conversation because you all are an aunt and a niece duo, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I recently read an article. It's an old article from a couple years ago, but it recently kind of came across my timeline. And the writer, Brandon Hardin, mentioned that the Black aunt walks the precipice of being a friend and elder. And I thought that was such a great way of describing the role of Black aunts in our community because, you know, they're not quite as strict as mom, but they are elders. You know,
Yes,
they
they
can be
And
elders.
they can be strict. Don't
They can be, but
yes,
they
don't step
sometimes
off the line.
listen. They cross that line, right? They toe that line. They toe that
Yeah,
line.
exactly.
Yes.
So when I thought about that, you know, it reminded me of the way, Cindy, you described your aunt Glenda as being, you know, really cool. But of course, there's that respect there. But
Oh,
first,
yes.
I want to take it back to the beginning. Before
Okay.
you were an aunt, Glenda, before you were a grandmother and you had all these titles, I want you to tell our audience, what was it like for you? You know, take us back to the South Side of Chicago. What was it like for you growing up as a young girl and a teen before you had all these titles?
Well, I am one of 9, but I'm the oldest girl. I'm the second oldest, but I'm the oldest girl. So there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that. I was always really happy I was the oldest girl too, because you have all that responsibility, but it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding, you know? So we were poor. We didn't have much, but we had a lot of love. We had a lot of love. And we looked after each other. My father was stricter than my mother. The thing about having a mother and a father, you really do get both sides of that. And I think kids need that if they can get it, you know. My mom was real quiet. She did not yell at you. She would look at you. Or she'd give, you know, that eye they give you and you straighten up right away. So we went to public schools and I went to DuSable High School and it was fun. I really enjoyed my childhood. The thing about being poor is everybody was poor. Everybody in my neighborhood was poor. So I didn't know any different. I was a rich girl. I just didn't, you know what I mean? I just didn't know it. So I didn't have any complaints about my childhood, really. It really gave me the basis for my life. And I still hold on
I
to a
love
lot.
that.
Yeah, that's that little,
Tell
that's
us
my,
about this picture.
that's my oldest brother in the middle, and that's my younger brother on the left, Stephen in Narville. And my mother said when she went to take this picture that I was not happy that day, which I think my face clearly indicates. But I love that little picture. I love that. Yeah.
Oh, that's precious. So that's
Yeah.
you on the right with the little belt on.
Yes, that's right. With the little red belt on.
Ah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's precious. That is so precious.
Yeah.
You know, I think that that's awesome that you kind of touched on something that, you know, when you're a child, sometimes you're not really aware of those circumstances, but when you have a lot of love there, you know, you don't really realize, you don't consider yourself as having lacking anything.
Right. No,
You
because
know?
no, yes, I do understand exactly what you're saying, because even though my father was strict, I never had a day in my life where I didn't know I was loved. We always knew we were loved, always. No, my father used to say, never forget that you're the prize. You're the prize. And that really, you hold on to that and you'll make it. You'll make it, you know? Mhm.
That's
Mom,
great advice.
yes. I think all women should know that. You're the prize.
Yep.
You're the prize. Works.
Ooh, yes, that is a word for all of
Yeah.
us out there.
Yeah.
And so, you know, Cindy, you were also born in Chicago like your aunt, but you sort of had a different experience because you were raised in LA.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up? I'm assuming, I don't want to age you, but the 70s LA?
Oh,
80s?
hey, I 80s. That's when my heyday. I thought it was the cutest thing running, honey.
Oh,
Yes,
you-
it was wonderful. It was wonderful. I ended up living with my mom, and as Aunt Glenda said, we were poor, but you wouldn't have never known. I never went home. I'm sorry, we never went to bed hungry. If I went
No.
to bed hungry, that's because I didn't want it. So that I always had something to eat. And I just enjoyed my childhood. I really did. But I found myself when I turned in 11th grade, honey, that's when I thought I was fine.
Well, we do have a throwback picture. I think it's a little bit before you were in 11th grade. But
Oh,
so tell us about this. So now you look like you're bundled up. Now was this in Chicago before you moved, or where was this picture taken?
That was in New York. That's my brother and I. Yeah, I think that's in New York.
So you were about 5 years old. This is
I
super
think
cute.
so. Yeah.
With your fur trim coat on.
Honey, I had to be cute.
So it started way back. Way back. Oh, I love it. And so, you know, just it's really wonderful to hear you both reflect, you know, just on your childhood and that, you know, just sort of the positive upbringing that you both received, you know. And I know that childhood is not always easy, especially when you start to move into your teenage years and that kind of thing. But listening to you all talk about your childhood, this is sort of switching gears, but what do you think is sort of the biggest difference about the way you grew up and the way you were raised, and maybe the way that children today are being raised? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, for me, they don't respect the elders. The parents are 12 and having children. They know nothing, but they think they know everything. Well, I did too, but it's just different. It's just no respect. Just no respect. And no respect for themselves.
yeah. It's not all of them, but
Yeah.
there is a lot of that. There's no
Yeah.
moral compass like we had. You know, if you were in school and you got suspended, it might as well have been the end of the world.
It was.
Kids don't have that. You know, they
At
just
all.
pick up a book and throw it at the teacher. But it's not all of them. I try not to judge all of them that way because it's not all of them, but for sure, the way things are nowadays, I just think there's just too much freedom. The girls don't respect their bodies, and the boys are a little bit out of control. But you know, they kind of said that about us too when we were young. You know, when I graduated from high school, it was 1968. And the world was on fire in my mind. You know what I mean? We were marching and we felt powerful and no one could tell us anything and we were going to change the world. And the adults were saying, stop wearing your hair like that and, you know, dress differently. So each generation, I guess, has their own.
Yeah, but they still have respect for yourself. I mean, girls still have the respect for themselves.
Not all girls now. Not all girls.
Yeah.
But a lot of them. If you watch the videos, it was all girls.
Right.
Yeah.
I can remember going to high school and there were no pregnant girls in high school.
Oh my
And
God,
if
you were not pregnant.
Oh,
There was
and if
so
you
much
were
shame
pregnant, you was
involved.
talked about badly.
But I'm glad that they have removed some of the shame involved in it because they act like the boys don't have anything to do with it.
And that's a great point. I
You
think
know,
you're touching on a lot of things that, you know, and these are the kind of conversations that we have, right, with our elders. And this whole conversation is called perspectives, right? Because you get these different perspectives when you're at different ages in life and when you can see things from a different vantage point. And I think you said something, Glinda, that I think is really interesting, which is, in a certain way, elders have always sort of felt like the younger generation was departing from the old ways, right?
yes.
And in some ways they have, and in some ways that has been positive. There are things that we can see, there are positives and negatives that we can see about both. But I think what you're both hitting on is that perspective changes as you get older and you know more, you know, and you're able to sort of look back at yourself and go, oh, wow, I guess I was that, you know. I say that about Generation Z. I'm like, oh, Generation Z does not know what it means to struggle. I'm a millennial. I work hard. I got to move. You know, I mean, are they any different? Who knows, right? So along those same lines, as we're thinking about this theme of perspective, I want you all to think about your teenage years now. Okay. And what advice would you give to your younger self? And actually, we're going to cue up a picture. Now, Cindy, you sent us this awesome picture of you as a teen.
Very good, Cindy.
So you're first, Cindy. You're going to be first. So looking at this awesome picture, first of all, tell us about the picture, and then tell us, what would you have told this girl, this awesome teenager back then, with the perspective that you have now?
Oh, my goodness. I thought I was still cute. But I would say, I think I would tell her, go ahead and go to college. Get that education, experience that. And take the world by storm.
I love that.
Tell her.
I love that. And I love the confidence that you said, listen, I might have had rollers. First of all, it looks like it was Christmas, right? Or something like that. You got your robe on, you got your rollers, the foam rollers, we all know, with the scarf on before bedtime.
Okay,
Yes.
And I love that. But you said you still thought you were cute, and you were. And I love that confidence, you know, and that's something that I think is really important. We'll take this one down, but thank you. I think that's great advice, you know. Take the world by storm. And it's nice to kind of reflect back on your younger self. And so, of course, Glinda, we can't leave you out. We've got a picture here of you. This is like, I think, young adulthood, but we'll get that one up. And I want you to do the same thing. Tell us a little bit about this picture. And you can also reflect on your teenage years as well. But what would you tell your younger self?
Oh, I was invincible at that point. I was dancing and wearing my shirt tied up and wearing my skirts too short. And I remember my mother saying, you know, you're going to pay for that. It's going to catch up with you later. But when I was 19, 20, I think this picture was taken when I was 20 or 21. And I didn't think anything would stop me from doing anything I wanted to do. That's it. And I still kind of feel like that. Because we were raised that way. You decide, you make a goal, and then you work at it. If it doesn't work out, change it, do something else. That doesn't work, do something else. Don't die, don't drop it off, don't give up. Just do something. And when I was 22, nothing could stop me. I didn't even know that I wasn't on top of the world, but I sure thought I was.
And that will carry you far. And
It
I
will.
really do love that.
It
That
will.
will carry you far. And I like that attitude of, there are times in life where we have to pivot,
Yes.
And I think the last couple of years have shown all of us that really in a way, and I'm even dealing with it now. I'm also in the arts, but there are times in life where you have to pivot. And I do think that that's something that I admire about my elders is that they haven't, at least from my observation, my elders didn't really sit around moping, feeling sorry for themselves.
No.
When things didn't work out,
No.
they try something new.
Yeah, that's right. And it's back then too, everybody was going to church. Everybody anyway was going to church. And that gives you a little something to hold on to. It gives you a little door that you can sort of follow the rules, and you should be able to make it. We don't have that so much nowadays.
Right.
A lot of kids don't go to church. Doesn't mean that they necessarily don't believe in God, but they just believe it in a different way than the way we were brought up. I remember one Sunday, because we used to go to church every Sunday, 9 of us. And one Sunday there was a fire at my church. So we were like, Mom, cannot go to church today. The church had a fire. She said, oh no, you're going to go to some church today. You know that little Catholic church up the street, that little Catholic church, St. Anne's? Go. That's what we did. And she sent us to the Catholic church, and I was like, oh my God, they're doing everything wrong in here. They're bending down the statues and then bowing the statues. And it was well, see, I was probably maybe 14, something like that. And so I thought all Catholics were rich because the size of the church and the people, and then the priest was in there and he was speaking in some language that I certainly didn't know, and he had his back to us. So, but Mom said, you're going to church, some church go. So I think that makes a big difference in terms of the structure of your life, Yeah.
Yeah. I think you hit on some good points too, that it's nice to have some place to ground you. And I think that's really what, you seem to hit on, is like, there's something about it, whether it's church or whether it's some other community sort of place, but that is something that I think people are yearning for right now. It's like connection. It gives us a place to connect,
right.
Right. And so, and I know Cynthia, you sort of talked about your upbringing in terms of, church and spirituality and that kind of thing. And so in terms of that, how do you think that sort of has played a role in the makings of you today?
Oh, wow. Oh, let's see. My mother was a Baptist. And then when I turned 16, she became a Jehovah's Witness. And I had a total meltdown. Well, there's no Christmas tree. Oh no, honey, I'm not doing none of this. But when I studied with them, there was things that I believed in, and things I just couldn't work. I just wasn't going to work out. So I took a little bit of that and a little bit of this and that, and I think I'm pretty much grounded. I think I know where I'm going. Hopefully.
That's right. And I love that too. I love the fact, because here's the thing, sometimes, and this is why this program is just so important. I love this because young people watch this program. We have people of all different ages, and people are trying to find their way. And sometimes, Cindy, what you hit on is that, like, you've had to shape what is going to work for your life, you know? And so there have been some things that you were able to take that are positive, and things that you said, okay, well, this might not work for me, but I can acknowledge what was positive and I can find a way that is grounding for me. And I think that is really important, that people can hear that. Sometimes we get stuck, or we feel like it's got to be all black or white, or all or nothing. And it doesn't. We're growing and evolving,
So you have to adjust My granddaughters, two of my granddaughters were Jehovah's Witnesses too. So you have to adjust. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a different
It
life.
is. It is.
Yeah. And that says a lot. I mean, you know, as these transitions can be really major life events. So I think that's just really awesome. So now I want to switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about career because we got, you know, two career women on the call. And I want to just, so I want to talk first. I'm going to start with you, Glinda. And I've gotten permission, by the way, everybody, to call them by their first names. I would not be just saying Glinda and Cindy, you know, but I've got permission. I don't want anybody writing me email.
Understand.
I don't want anyone to, I still feel like it just needs to be like Auntie Glinda. So Auntie Glinda, you have had a vibrant career as an actress, director, and even an entrepreneur. You even worked in international banking.
Yeah.
So walk us through this. You know, you were a communications major, minored in theater. How did you get into international banking?
Okay. When I was in high school, I took Spanish and it came really easy for me, really easy. So I finished Spanish in high school. Then when I went to college, I took Spanish and I placed out of the requirements. So I could speak Spanish really pretty well, although today. So when I was applying for a job, I applied for a job in banking. And they put me in as a teller, which lasted exactly about 4 hours. I was like, I can't do this. I don't care where the penny is. I don't care. I can't do that. So they asked me what other skills I had. I said, I speak Spanish pretty well. So then they moved me into international banking, which I really love that. It's imports and exports and all that kind of stuff. And that's how I got into international banking. And I loved it. I stayed with it for a really long time, 12 years, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course, the natural follow-up is, at what point did you decide to go full thrust into the performing arts? And we've got this wonderful slide that we want to show all your accolades, some of them, not even close to all, but at what point did you decide to go full thrust into the arts?
Well, I was 12 years into banking and I was bored. And I had always been given permission from the time I was really little that if you're doing something you don't like, try something else. Try something else. Try something else. Do it till it works. Just try it, try it, try it. And I really love dancing. And you know, if you dance, you run into all other kinds of things. Acting classes, art classes, you know, all that kind of stuff. And that's sort of how I went in the door, was really sort of through dance. And then in college, I found I really liked acting. I really liked it. And so I just held on to that and then it just took off. Wow.
And so before we take this slide down, I mean, we've got this fabulous headshot. Okay. And so tell us a little bit about this. I think you were in For Color Girls, Who've Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough.
Oh, I love that play. I love that play.
Which lady were you?
Lady in Orange. But I wanted to be Lady in Red. Everybody wants to be Lady in Red. But I was Lady in Orange. I had a really good time. Really good time. We had a live guitar player when we did that show, and it was fabulous. You know, the funny thing about Color Girls is that even if you did that play today, it still rings true. All of those stories still ring true in our lives. Okay. And I like that it was all about the lives of these women and how they were able to succeed, you know, and I love that. I love that. And that was like I said, that's one of my favorite plays. I could do that tomorrow if I got the chance. The other photo is from The Good Times Are Killing Me, which was written by Linda Berry. And she grew up in Seattle. And she was in a changing neighborhood, you know, where they have white flight and all of that. And her neighbors were moving out. And this Black girl, which is the part I play, Bonna, moved into the neighborhood, and she and Bonna were best friends. They were best friends for years in grammar school. And then the times weighed heavily on them, and it broke their friendship up because she had to choose. You have to choose between that white girl or your Black friends over here. You know, there was a lot of that going on back then, a lot of it, you know.
Mm.
I mean, even in the Black community, you know, you wear an afro or you don't wear an afro, or am I Black enough for you? You know, there's a lot of stuff like that, a lot of stuff like that going on. So that piece, I think, resonated with so many people. It ran for 9 months or 10 months. We changed theaters 3 or 4 times because we continued to sell tickets and people just loved it. I love that piece. That was a really good piece. And of course, the picture in the middle was just, you know, like I said, I thought I was a star.
You clearly are a star.
That's what I was trying to project at the time.
I love it. And then we got you know, some directing credits. And so, I mean, you know, you hit on so many. Also, I just have to say, former Lady in Yellow here. I did, I as well, you know, did for Colored Girls. Of course, everybody wants to be Lady in Red, but I love being Lady in Yellow.
Yeah, I did. I love that too. Yeah.
But so we'll take this one down. I think that's, you know, really awesome that it seems as though, you know, you had this vibrant career doing really relevant work.
Yes.
And I think that it says a lot that you've had success in this business, because this business can be, you know, very up and down, the entertainment business. How have you navigated the ups and downs of that space of the entertainment industry?
Well, it takes a lot to get me down. If something doesn't work, I'll try something else. That's just the way I sort of run my life. When I was out in California, I was working behind the scenes and I was bored. I wanted to do something else. And everybody else was getting a food truck, so why shouldn't I get a food truck? So that's just kind of how I am in my life. I'm not gonna be held down. If I'm depressed, it'll be just for a little while. And then I'm gonna go do something else. Because I can hear my mother and my grandmothers in my ear saying, is that gonna stop you? Is that what you're gonna let stop you? Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Get up, let's go. And
I love that.
My life. That's how I live my life. Yeah.
That's it. That is such a good spirit. And so now I want to add another layer to this.
Okay.
So Cindy, you know, you're not off the hook. Cindy, we've got these wonderful pictures of you, some throwbacks of you here as a mom. And of course, as we mentioned in your bio, you've worked for 34 years as a behavioral management aide. Can you tell us, just walk us through a little bit about, you know, what it was like raising your son and balancing career at the same time?
Well, it wasn't difficult because I had help from my mom, so I was able to do that. And my dad got me the job. I stayed there forever because I was able to get off at what, 2:30, 2:45, and still be able to be at home for him to do his homework, to cook dinner, and that was it. I love working. I love working with kids. Sometimes it's a chore, but but I love working with kids. Oh, it's kind of cute there.
Yeah, listen, these pictures, you all look great. So what do you think is one of the biggest lessons that you've learned in your work, that you've learned from the kids that you work with?
I have to take my time to understand each kid individually. Because at one time I just grouped them all in one big old melting pot, and you can't really do that. So they taught me how to take my time, listen, and take it from there.
Yeah, I think that's a great lesson. And kids have a way of sort of slowing us down,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because they live in the present. And so
Yes.
you do have to do that. I think that, you know, a lot of times, so now I'm going to switch gears again, you know, a lot of times, and we've sort of talked about our message to our younger selves and stuff. When we reflect back as women, we tend to think about things that we would have done differently. Oh, I wish I would have done this, or regrets, you know, choices that we made professionally or socially or relationships. However, I don't think that we go back and thank our younger selves enough. And so right now, I'd like to ask both of you, what is one thing that you would go back and thank your young adult self for now? If you could tell your young adult self, you know, thank you for doing whatever it is, what would that be?
Hanging in there, not giving up, pushing forward, even though sometimes it was tough. And being a single mother, it was like, ooh, child, please. But pushing through, just pushing through.
Yeah, that's really kind of sums it up.
Mhm.
I would say to my younger self, be careful. Be careful, because you're interested in a lot of things, and all doors don't lead to good things. So be careful in what you choose for yourself. And if it doesn't feel right, move. Along. Do something else. Try something else. You have to have personal strength, and you have to use it when times are tough and when times are easy. And when you have the easy times, you have to take a deep breath, you know, relax a little bit and pay attention to because everything that happens to you happens for a reason. All that stuff that happened when you were 12 or 8, and the bike and the kid and all that stuff adds up. It all adds up to who we are today, or who we would have been when if I was looking back on my childhood. And I had a really good foundation upbringing, good foundation. It has really helped me in my life, because I don't give up. I don't give up. And I'm not gonna give up. You know, forward.
Absolutely.
Forward. Sometimes, you know, you have to stop, slow down, take a little time to see if you're, but that's okay. That's okay, because that's how life is, right? It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's slow, fast, it's crazy. But you just keep going forward. Don't get off the train. Do not get off the train. Forward.
This is blessing me. And I know you all out there watching, I hope that it's really, I hope that you're feeling the way that I'm feeling about listening to them, because this is, you know, you need to hear it as a young person trying to find my way. And as this world is crazy, things are changing. And 1 minute you got a job, the next minute you don't have a job. You know what I mean? And so you've got to have something to kind of keep you going. And so, you know, now I want to talk about this transition, right? Because you all have been through a lot of things. You've mentioned that already. And you're both grandmothers. Okay. We got an aunt and a niece, but both of you are grandmothers. And this is all about celebrating, you know, the ordinary yet extraordinary Black grandmothers in our lives. And so when a lot of people think about grandmothers, they tend to think about, you know, someone that's retired and knitting at home and, you know, with a church fan. However, you know, both of you don't necessarily fit that picture. You all are rewriting the rules, if you will, about what it means to be a grandmother. And so let's just kind of talk about that a little bit. First of all, Cynthia, I want to start with you. And we got this beautiful slide of you and your granddaughter. What does your granddaughter call you?
Grana.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about the Grana name, because that's the first one for me.
My mother was grandma. Her mother was grandmother, and plus I'm just too cute to be called grandmother or no, I'm Grana. Yeah, Grana. Don't call me grandma. Oh no, I was too cute.
Yes. So wait, I just want to, we're going to take this slide down. I just got to have you say that one more time. You said, so why did you want to be called Grana?
Because I was cute. I was too cute to be called grandma, grandmother, granny. No, Grana. I like Grana. It's cute.
I love that. And so, you know, I don't know if you grew up sort of with the relationship with your grandmother, but in what ways are you sort of grandmothering different than the pictures that you sort of grew up with in your upbringing? How are you sort of doing things differently, if at all?
I don't think I am. Well, I didn't have my grandmothers. So I took most of that off my mother. But I think I'm a little, oh wow, a little hipper. I'll get out there and dance with them. I want to be the cool granny. So but I make sure that what my mother taught me, I do teach her. You know, self-respect, be a lady, you know, listen, stop being so hard-headed, don't be a fast tail, sit down somewhere, don't talk back, watch what you say, girl, I'm gonna get you. all of that.
So you are maintaining some of the old ways.
Oh, yes,
I'm assuming. Okay.
you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to.
Mhm.
Well, now it's your turn, Glinda. What do your grandchildren call you? And you have great grandchildren as well. And how are you doing things sort of differently or the same, you know, as your references for grandmothers?
Well, my grandmothers were older and strict, but loving. There's rules, and you don't change the rules, and you don't make the rules. So, you know, that's what my grandparents were like. Very loving, though. When I became a grandmother, I was just ecstatic. I think I was maybe 35 or so when I became a grandmother, because you know these kids make you grandparents way earlier now than in old days. And and I try to teach my grandkids the same things that I was taught when I was a kid. And it's funny listening to Cindy say fast tail, because I haven't heard that in so long. So my mother used to say, don't be fast. You can't be fast. You're a kid when you're a little girl, particularly. But I have tried to raise my grandkids really in the same way that I was raised. But you know, it's not as strict. It's a little bit softer because they're grandkids.
Exactly.
You can get away with a lot more when they're not your kids. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
So
I love my grandkids. All girls. I got four granddaughters.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, you also have you have the unique experience of being a caretaker and now spending this special time with your mom. And we've got this picture of the two of you. Tell us about that. And we've also got an adult picture of you with your Lands' End print ad looking cool, and then a current photo. We call this montage Glenda Starr Kelley throughout the years. And so tell us about that. What lessons are you learning currently as a caretaker / just spending time with your mom?
You know, I feel so fortunate to still have my mom, because she's 91. She's 91 and she is sharp. She still pays her own bills and she dresses herself, and her shoes don't match her dress. She doesn't like it. The purse has to be right. And I love that, because she's 91, but she is fully there. Thank God. She still has her mind about her. The picture on the left, I did a lot of print work. I used to do print work all the time. So I would appear in many magazines. Lands' End, I just like that ad particularly because I thought I looked so cute in that photo. And the funny thing about these two pictures is that purple scarf I have on, that's my favorite scarf in the whole world. I've had that scarf, I don't know, since 1979 or something like that. That's my favorite scarf. So it's really funny to see that in both pictures. And my mother and I were at a family reunion. That middle picture was at a family reunion, because we try to have a family reunion every year. And on the right, I was in her backyard looking at her flowers. She has huge garden back there, flowers. And don't cut her wildflowers. God made those flowers just like the ones you planted. Just leave them. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And so, you know, that's really precious, you know.
It
Both
is.
of
I'm
you.
grateful, really grateful I got my mom.
Yeah. Both
Yeah.
of you really value family. And, you know, Cynthia, you've stressed that. You too, Glinda. And I think that that's really important. It's because that's what really kind of gets you through, whether that's
It really
family that
does.
is chosen family or family that you happen to be blessed into. Either way, just having that support really means a lot. And again, it gives you that perspective, which is the theme. And
Right.
so we're almost wrapping up, but I did want to sort of go back to this because both of you wear many, many hats, as we know. So Glenda, you know, you've been an actress and an entrepreneur, and Cynthia, you know, you've been working for 34 years with children, and you are a mother and a grandmother. But both of you also have other interests, you know, and other hobbies, which I think make you really cool and unique. So Glenda, at one point you had a food truck. We're going to get that up here, but I wanted to ask you.
Look at that beautiful food truck.
Look at that. What advice would you give? Well, tell us about it first, and then I'll ask our question. Tell us about this.
Okay.
So tell us about the food truck.
There were a lot of food trucks at that time. They were very popular. And we were trying to figure out a way to make this particular food truck so different, so much better. So we had a karaoke stand, big giant popsicles. As a matter of fact, that's me on the left there with that red top on. I think it's red. And the food truck brought on a whole bunch of other things. I was able to work at Coachella. We worked at Coachella for 3 years out there, making 52,000 meals a day. That's a wild ride. That Coachella is really something. But you know, this is the thing. You do one thing and it takes you someplace else. Always. That food truck, we did a job up in Calabasas. And that's when Chris Jenner came to the truck and took pictures and sang karaoke with us. And it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
That's wonderful. And so I wanted to ask you, you know, what advice would you have? And I think you've been hitting on this, but what advice would you have for somebody who is an adult who wants to pivot and wants to do something different? Because there are a lot of people that feel like, well, man, I might be past that age where I can kind of try something like a food truck or do this. What would you say to somebody that's looking to,
you know, you can talk yourself out of almost anything.
Absolutely.
I say try it. Try it. If it doesn't work, then you'll do something else. That's the way I do it. That's the way I live my life. I try it. And faith has sustained me. When things get bad, I have my faith to fall back on. If you know, if something's happening with the kids or the house, or because I have 2 sons, if something's going on, faith sustains me. And plus I said I can hear them in my ear. Mama and grandmama, get it done, get it done, get it done. Don't back out. Don't run away. Stand up. You can do this. You can do. And never forget, you're the prize. You're the prize. That has sustained me in my life. Really, really has.
Wow. So Cynthia, you know, you too, you are somebody that has been continually learning new things. And so I want to show your art because this is really cool. You have a hobby of creating these original art pieces. Check those out, y'all. Tell us about your art. And, you know, what words would you give? What kind of advice would you give to somebody that, again, wants to try something new? Why do you think it's important to have hobbies like this and to continue to learn new things?
So you won't be bored. I was watching YouTube channels and seeing this resin. I'm like, oh, I want to try that. Oh, I want to try that. I spent hundreds of dollars and many, many mistakes until I was comfortable enough to do a perfect tray, a perfect heart, and it was fun. And I would say just try it again. Like Auntie said, try it. If it doesn't work, find something else. You have to try something. You just can't stand there and let life go by. So try it. I love it.
I love that. And those are really good words to live by. You know, I think that that's great. We now are almost wrapping up. It looks we're almost wrapping up, but we got something fun. And of course, if there are any other, so you all are giving these words of wisdom. We got try it, we got don't give up. Is there any other kind of words of wisdom that you want to sort of share before we play our trivia game?
Don't be conceited. Do not be conceited. It's not gonna work. Leave that kind of stuff alone. That's negative. Always positive. You know, I always think I can do something, but if I can't do it, it's okay. I'm not a failure. It happens. You just move on. But don't be conceited about it, because that's not good. I never liked conceit ever. I never did. What about you, Cindy?
I would, like I said, follow your first mind. Don't second guess yourself. And if it feels wrong, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, because you know your inner voice is saying something's not right. And then when you go and do it anyway, you say, oh, why did I do that? I knew I should have followed my first mind. So follow your first mind.
Yeah. We've actually got a question from the chat. And before we transition into our Pearls and Pocketbooks pop-up game that'll close us out, but one of our guests wants to know, who would you say has been the most important woman in your life outside of family?
Ew, that's rude.
We get it, y'all. We know it's a family affair. We know this family is tight.
I have one. My best friend, Chanel Holmes, my best friend. She, when I was going through something bad, she was there and held my hand, let me cry, put me back on my feet, and pushed me out the door. So Chanel Holmes.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I had let's see, outside of family though. I had a friend named Marianne Eccles, who was my best friend for a long time, long time. And she was really sweet, really easy to get along with. We complimented each other. And whenever I was having a bad day, she could just make me smile. She was a really funny girl. And I depended on her in a way that I didn't realize until later. That's one of those questions, like if you could go back and ask your former self what you, we depended on each other. We were always there for each other. And that makes such a huge difference in your life. It really does. Because when you leave the family circle, that's when stuff gets wild or weird or where you're not, you don't feel safe. So you need that. And I had a good friend, Marianne Eccles. I don't know what she's doing nowadays.
Thank you to whoever out there asked that question. That was a great question. We're going to transition now to a little game we like to call the Pearls and Pocketbooks pop-up show. It's the Pearls and Pocketbooks pop-up show. It's a quick little game that we do. Today's theme is what you know about me. We're going to see how well you know your niece and how well you know your aunt. So we're going to fly through these fun questions. It's a fun game. We've only got a few minutes. So strap in, ladies. Okay. Here we go. First question. So Glinda, you're up first. Which one of these actors, celebrities, was Cindy's celebrity crush?
Let's say Billy D.
Cindy?
No.
Who was your celebrity crush?
Eric Estrada.
All right. I know, I was shocked as well. All right, next question. If Cindy could travel anywhere in the world, where would she go? And it could be some place that maybe she's already been. I don't know.
Let's say Hawaii.
Ah, Cindy.
Italy.
Italy. And one of our viewers, Irving, was hoping that you would have said Ghana, Cindy, but viewers out there, Cindy wants to go to Italy.
I went for my brother took me for my 40th and I fell in love and I want to go back so bad.
Nambi Kelly says, LOL. She's having a good time watching this game. All right, we got one more question for you, Glinda. What is Cindy's favorite food? Her boyfriend's fried chicken, Cinnabon, mac and cheese, or tacos?
Mac and cheese.
Ooh, and Daniel Carlton, on one of our guests, says tacos. Cindy, what is the correct answer?
Sorry, my boyfriend's fried chicken.
Oh, that was fun. Thank you, Glinda. We've got just a few more questions. So now it's your turn, Cindy. Who was Glinda's celebrity crush?
Sidney Poitier.
Oh, is that correct, Glinda?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, next question. If Glinda could travel anywhere in the world, where would she go?
I would say Spain.
Glinda?
No, Paris. Paris. Paris.
All right.
She's headed to the Eiffel Tower. Okay, and we got one more question. What is Glinda's favorite movie?
Women of Brewster's Place.
Glinda?
No, it's the coal miner's daughter.
Oh, Lord.
She threw us for a loop. Listen, I hope you all have fun with this. I think this has been an amazing, amazing time chatting with an aunt and a niece. You all have shared so much wisdom out there. Thank you all for being on the show today.
Thank you, Melanie, for having us. Thank you so much for having us.
And it's just been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I want to take this time right now, before you all head out, all of you amazing viewers, I want to take this time to thank all of the amazing supporters for helping us to bring you this show month after month. Special thanks to Nambi Kelly.
Yay.
Your family's awesome.
Yay.
Yay.
Yes, y'all. I want to thank Paris Nesbitt, Cheryl Rutherford, and Cassandra Brazil for your continued support. Thank you. This is a labor of love, and I am because we are. None of this would be possible without the support from all of you. I want to also take this time to thank the amazing Cindy Martin, who has been our engineer extraordinaire this evening. All of those slides that you've seen seamlessly come up, that is Cindy. So y'all, shouts out to Cindy Martin. Cindy, thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you.
Yes. And right now, many of you have asked how you can help keep this going on, right? So right now you can do couple of things. Please go to youtube.com/thegrandmotherproject and click like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram @thegrandmotherproject. Finally, and before we close, I want to acknowledge all of you in the chat. We've got Sandra Burton, who says, congratulations, Glinda and Cindy, and of course the host. Thank you. Daniel Carlton, thank you for the shouts out. Nambi and Irving, all of you all. Thank you so much. We always like to shout out in this interactive podcast. So thank you for watching, y'all. Finally, if you would like to donate and help us continue these programs, because we do have to, support this work on Zoom, stay tuned for a special message. Again, I want to thank all of you for coming out and watching this live. Stay tuned, y'all. Do not turn it off. We got a special message after this of how you can support. Thank you again, Cindy and Glinda.
Thank you, honey, for all you do. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie.
Bye, y'all. We'll see you next month on Pearls and Pocketbooks.
Bye.
Stay tuned.
Do I need to turn it off?
Supporting the Grandmother Project is easy. Simply go to www.grandmotherprojectseries.com and click donate. You'll be directed to our PayPal page, where you can enter an amount to help support the creation of new episodes and content. Be sure to like and subscribe to our page on YouTube and follow us on social media. See you next month on the next Pearls and Pocketbooks.